7-Eleven around Staten Island.
Ladies Bar.
And what is the name of it?
Ladies Bar.
Ladies Bar.
Short Inn.
In Staten Island, New York. The original player piano. And a functioning one at that. Really neat.
So there's an accordion and a saw and a tambourine.
Hey guys, it's me, Joe, from the Crazy New York Driver Show, and I'd like to show you what we saw in Staten Island, which was yesterday on May 14th, 2011. I'd like to start out, like I always do, by pointing out how cloudy and nasty it was. I am not kidding. About 2 weeks ago, I made a video, one of my eBay videos, a brief one, which I filmed in my backyard, and it was actually sunny, and that's why I decided to make the video that day. It was the first sunny day in about a month, and a few of you even commented on that. And as soon as I got to work, the clouds already rolled in, and it had turned cloudy by the time the day was over. We are in the midst of a long storm. It is going to be cloudy and rainy for the next week and a half straight. So I wish we could have picked a sunny day for this, but we don't get sun in the Northeast, so we got to work with what we got. So let's get started, and let me tell you more about some of the pictures you're looking at. All of these pictures were shot in Staten Island, New York. Staten Island, which is also considered the fifth borough or the forgotten borough, because it's a lot different than New York City, and it's not quite as hectic. You'll notice we're going to be visiting a lot of older buildings, especially houses, that are in their original state. Some of them look like they're 200 years old and they're in mint condition. So let's take a look at some of them and some of the new changes. But one thing that has not changed are the New York City buses. Here is a picture of a brand new bus that we got on. And I'm telling you, brand new. It was like a week old. It's kind of a fuzzy picture of the interior there, but I just wanted you to get an idea. Something that was left from the old days is this beautiful old firebox. I'm sure many of you guys know that the new fireboxes, you push and you talk into them, whether you want police or firemen or whatever you happen to need. But the hills of Staten Island are more reminiscent of those in San Francisco, as you'd probably think you were in San Francisco looking at some of these. It's always nice to see a tree-lined street, no matter where you are, even on a cloudy, murky day. This is a residential section on St. Mark Street over in St. George. As you can see, a lot of the houses are unchanged and in their original state. Many of them have dense overgrowth. There's a high school there we visited with an unusual lion statue out front. That's him, Leo the lion there. I took 2 shots of him because he was unusual and I thought he was very photogenic. He does not require feeding, he does not bite, and he is not for sale on eBay. Other things I'd like to talk to you about the tour. We met some of the most friendly and nicest people on the tour. A lot of them were residents of their houses that came out, and a couple actually let us go into their house and look around. I'm going to introduce you to a few of them shortly. One of them was a resident on one of the streets we had traversed, and he had expected us to come by. But the second guy just happened to be driving by in his car, and he saw us walking on the street and asked us if we wanted to come in and visit his house. Turns out he was a retired Catholic priest, and he led us through a tour of his house. It's a really nice, old-fashioned house, which he bought years ago when it was more affordable. I believe, if I have my figures correct, years ago he paid $90,000 for it. Of course, it was overgrown with, weeds and brush, and it needed a lot of work. Coincidentally, he has the house for sale today, and he's asking $1.1 million. Sounds like a lot? Well, I guess it is a lot, even in today's economy. But as you'll shortly see, the house is really nice, and In case anybody's looking for a house in Staten Island, a historic house, I can tell you where there's one for sale. Let's talk about the first house that we came across and met the resident. It was this greenhouse right here. The gentleman who owned it also did a lot of repairs. That's him right there. And he has the paperwork to back it up. Across the street is this magnificent house, and it's owned by the retired Catholic priest you see right there. He came out, he was nice to the whole group, and after he gave us a talk, which I also videoed, he let us inside. I took some pictures here of the interior of his house. You may notice that some of the pictures are slightly fuzzy because, as you know, on a dark day, digital cameras do not focus very well. I went upstairs to the cupola, and even though it was cloudy, it was quite bright considering. Note the stained glass windows, which look really neat. I even took a shot down the staircase. It's a very narrow staircase. You can only really fit one at a time. A few blocks away, I came across these classic cars. That was a 53 Chevy. That's a 57 Chevy, mint condition. It's older than me, and it's in better condition. That's a 60 Chevy with a right front flat tire. 1966 Pontiac. Very clean. It's been repainted. Not original, of course. The world-famous Carmen gear that either you loved it or you hated it. And here we are back in Leedy's Bar, ending up the trip. Take a look at the oldest phone booth in the city of New York. It's functioning. An actual functioning phone booth. I then continued on with the rest of the gang, and we ended up in Snug Harbor. That is Sailor's Snug Harbor in Staten Island. This is the end of the tour. Thanks for watching. Remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not.